Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this afternoon here on Tuesday, January 21st at the National Western Stock Show for 2025. We are here in the historic Stadium Arena for 116 years of celebrations here at Crowning Champions since 1909. We're going to get started with our junior showmanship. We will have in this class our first set of two classes, 8 exhibitors. So we will get started here shortly and momentarily once our exhibitors are lined up outside the ring. We'll take this time to introduce our judge for today's contest. Our judge is Dr. Ryan Rathman. Ryan is an associate professor in beef cattle biology and a holder of the John W. and Doris Jones Endowed Professorship in the Department of Animal and Food Sciences at Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. We appreciate Ryan judging our showmanship category for this year. Don't worry, Dr. Rathman. We'll elaborate on your background as we go throughout the show here today. So we're going to break up our junior showmanship category into 2 different classes like we previously mentioned because we have multiple exhibitors. So we have a total of 15 exhibitors, and we're going to break them up into 2 heats. So our first heat, walking in the ring, will include exhibitors 3211 from Owen Hockaday, 1659 from Tinley Becker, 3722 is Annabeth Moody, 2564 is Cayman Cody, 1042 is Hoffman Ranch Team Company, 3413 is Kinsley Bremer, and 2867 is Shay Rogers. Those are your exhibitors that will make up your first heat of Junior Showman. This year's 2025 National Western Stock Show is presented by Common Spirit Health. Common Spirit Health is the proud presenting partner and the official first aid provider of the National Western. Common Spirit is committed to unleashing the healing power of humanity through human kindness. You can learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org. Some of our sponsors for the National Western include Sullivan's Show Supply. Sullivan Supply is a family-owned and operated company founded in 1989. They are the innovative leader in livestock show supplies, and they have kept values of hard work, family ties, and quality products at their core. Sullivan Supply is proud to service the livestock industry and wishes all the exhibitors here at the National Western the best of luck. As many of our exhibitors know, this is our last year inside Stadium Arena. We will be having our new show in our new facilities next year. Those facilities, the Legacy Building, is being built by Saunders Construction. Saunders was locally founded in 1972 and is now one of the largest and most stable construction companies in the Centennial State. Saunders offers well-paid positions with opportunities for career growth. You can visit them at www.saundersinc.com for information on career opportunities. So, as promised, we'll continue to give our background for our judge, Dr. Ryan Rathman. Ryan has a BS in Animal Science and MS in Reproductive Physiology from Texas A&M and a PhD in Ruminant Nutrition from Texas Tech. Ryan teaches courses in cow-calf management, animal breeding and genetics, and artificial insemination. He conducts diversified applied research, including cull-cow reconditioning, confined and semi-confined cow-calf system management, and beef cow sustainability. Ryan is the all-time winningest coach. Ryan is the all-time winningest coach in collegiate history, having coached 9 national champion livestock judging teams, 3 at Texas A&M and 6 at TTU, and 5 national champion meat animal evaluation teams. Ryan operates Arcade Cattle, a registered Red Angus seed stock operation. He judges livestock shows extensively across the United States and abroad. To date, he has sorted over 400 shows in 40-plus states. Ryan is married to Kayla Coles Rathman and has 2 daughters named Kinley, who I believe is in the ring with him today, and Carly, who's 13 years of age. So we appreciate Dr. Rathman and his family giving their expertise and knowledge to judging this year's showmanship at the National Western.
Test. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. Hey, pleasure to be with y'all. Kinley and I were looking forward to this. This is the first time that, I say that. I think Kinley and I have judged one prospect steer show together before, but Jennifer had asked me while we were here this week, and I was judging the prospect show at the end of the week, but we're showing fat, so we're back here with all these kids as well. And she said in November, would you like to come judge Showmanship? And I said, well, my daughter's not going to like that at all because she takes Showmanship very seriously, and that would mean she's not going to be able to show. And so I was just going to turn it down, and then I said, well, actually, I think it might be a lot of fun to judge it with her, and that way she gets the perspective of kind of through this angle, what is most effective from a showmanship perspective. And so she said that'd be great. And so that's what we're going to do this afternoon. So we're looking forward to it. We've got 2 heats of juniors, and there's about 7 or 8 in each. I think ultimately our objective after the 2 heats is to place a top 5. And so we'll just use our discretion here on choosing 3 or 4 students per heat. I know for y'all here in the middle of the afternoon, you've got the Fat Show tomorrow. One of the big reasons that you want to get out here is just get a little bit of ring time with the steer, and then in these 2 heats in juniors, more ring time for your kiddos, and that's why we're here, and that's what it's all about. And so I want to make certain that we're not inefficient with our time and take too much time, but I certainly want to make certain that we give you guys your due here in the ring, and y'all feel good about what happens. So I'll just go down the lineup, and Cayman, we're going to start with you. If you'll pull your calf over here, we're going to pull this gentleman here back here just in a second. I thought he did a marvelous job, and we'll talk him here in a moment. Tinley, you did a nice job. One thing about your calf, he's a little bit unruly right now. We thought maybe you got just a little bit close, and maybe there was a time or two, just the angle that you took, being at the front of the lineup, maybe could have been angled back just a little bit. I almost feel like as a judge, if you're generally standing where Kinley's standing over here, that you almost need just a bit of an umbrella in terms of where you might be and the proper position of your calf. Hayden's standing next. Hayden, if you don't mind, bring your calf over here, sweetheart. We're going to bring this young lady back. I thought for her age, she said this is the first time she's showing a steer here at Denver, and I told Kinley one thing that I'm trying to gauge here in this junior group is experience relative to the job that they're doing, and I thought Hayden here did a marvelous job. She'll come back here in a second. We'll reevaluate. The next young lady right here is Kinsley. Kinsley is in the red sweater. Kinsley, if you don't mind, bring your calf over here. I thought she did an awesome job. Owen, you did a great job, bud. I just keep working hard. That old calf, he's got some cheek. He's got a good feeding look. Just make sure you hold his head high, and maybe you have to stand out in front of his nose just a little bit more and maybe push his nose towards the judge just a little bit tomorrow just to get as much look as you possibly can out of that front end. I thought you did a great job. Shay, if you don't mind, bring your calf over here. I thought you did a great job. Annabeth, I thought you did a marvelous job. Just keep working hard. This old calf wants to get just a little bit stretched out. And so you may have to leave yourself enough room just to pull them up and walk them into being set. Because those back legs, I don't like young kids poking at them, and you never did, so that was great. But you want to just make sure that he collects himself just a little bit more effectively from the side there. So we're going to dismiss these kids now. Let's give them a huge round of applause and let them know that you're proud of them.
So your top individuals from your first heat of juniors that will be making their way back. Our judge has selected Owen Hockaday, Hayden Hoffman, and Kinsley Bremer, and Shay Rogers. Those are your 4 entries that will be returning back for your final drive of Junior Showman. Now with our ring cleared out, we will bring up class number 2, which is our second heat of Junior Showmanship. Your second wave of Junior Showmen include entries from Wyatt Dunklau, Ace James, Chesney Prinz, Chesney Dubit, Briar Blanchette, Adley Block, and Cutter Dorsey. Those are your entries that will make up your second and final heat of Junior Showman.
All right, here in our second heat, first things I want to tell all four of y'all, y'all did an incredible job. I know the inventory kind of shrunk down just a little bit, had a few scratches, but I think all four of y'all are tremendously good, and you ought to be very proud of the job that you do. Cutter, this calf, he came in the ring, and man, he's really chill. He's chewing his cud the entire time, so that's good. I think you've done a nice job, and you posture his neck and his head well off the top of his blade. Kind of maybe a little bit like we were talking about in the last group. If you're in the first of the line, your calf, the way you have him kind of three-quartered is probably perfect. If you're in the middle of the group or towards the end, if you're up here towards the front, I would probably have him angled maybe just a little bit more like this. Just that way, if the judge is back there where Kinley's at, then you're just getting a little bit more of kind of a perpendicular shot, if you will, in terms of maximizing him. You may try to make sure that his front leg is just absolutely nailed right underneath his shoulder. You might push that back at him just a bit. Briar, I thought you did a very nice job. I'd tell you the same thing on that front leg, but I really like how far you get out in front of your cattle and the way that you got out and led them. You're very quick to get them set from the side. We're going to have you come back, and if you come over here. Adley's next. She's got this tall calf. Said he weighed about 1647, and so that's pretty big. She said, don't worry about that. It's not too big. And she does a fine job. She's really, really smooth over there. Adley, I would say with just that big old calf right there, he's a little harder to probably get set, but maybe just got to get him set just a little bit quicker. And just my advice, as big as he is, as long-bodied as he is, I would try to not touch his back feet and instead just pull him forward and try to reset him. They're just so far from you, it's really difficult to keep his neck and head where you want simultaneously to try to reposition that back leg. Wyatt, I thought you did a nice job. You have a tremendous steer, so he naturally is a good showmanship calf in terms of the way that he balances. But I thought you brought him right into being set and squared him down just the way that you should. So, Wyatt, we're going to bring you back over here as well. If y'all don't mind, let's give all these kids a huge round of applause, and we'll blend back our two heats.
Congratulations to our junior exhibitors in our second heat. Our top two individuals that will return for our championship drive will be Wyatt Dunklau and Briar Blanchette. So we will bring back our other four showmen from our other side of the show ring, and we will have them go head-to-head, and our judge will select your champion junior showman.
All right, thank you. It was good music, but it's time to go. All right, hey, let's start off by giving all these kids out here a huge round of applause. Really proud of all 6 of y'all. I know you got a lot of folks over here that love you and that are rooting for you, and all 6 of y'all, irrespective of where y'all finish, need to be proud of the job that you did today and be looking forward to tomorrow and doing good things with your teammate there, because I think they behave good for you guys, and we liked y'all's intensity. You're doing 99% of everything exactly the way that you need to do. So we're going to kind of go from 6th on up, and I'll just kind of describe. For me, sometimes when we go show and showmanship, it's so subjective, right? A lot of times they just pull them in. You don't really know the justification. I don't like to be critical of any kids on the microphone, but at the same time, I think it's educational, and hopefully you learn, and you want to know, hey, what was it that maybe left you 6th or 5th or 4th, and where could I get a little bit better, okay? So just stay positive, irrespective of where y'all get pulled out over here. So, hey, Wyatt, you're going to come out first, bud. If you don't mind, put your calf right over here where Kinley's at. Let's give Wyatt a round of applause. He's going to be our 6th-place showman today. Wyatt, I thought you did an awesome job. If I had to be critical of just a few things, and we loved what you did, and we called you back because of how quickly you get your calf set up, how much presence you give them. Hey, Wyatt, when we're circling the cattle, just a little bit more eye contact. I feel like maybe you're watching the sideline just a little bit more. Be a confident young man. One thing about this show project is that it generates confidence. You have a high degree of ability, and you know what needs to happen. So you just focus on eyeing that judge down. When you get out in front of or when we lead the cattle, you're kind of walking beside them. I would prefer you get out in front of them and be the leader, not just walking beside them, okay? I thought you did a great job. The only other thing I may tell you, this calf's going to do really good. I hope we're not in your class because this one's really good. But you have a tendency every once in a while to let his front feet drift back underneath him just a little bit more, and that tilts him forward, and I don't think he's made like that. So that's very minor. I thought you did an awesome job. Hey, in 5th place, we're going to have Hayden right here. Hayden, come on over here. Can y'all give this young lady a huge round of applause? Hayden told me again, and I'll repeat it, this is the first time that she's shown a steer out here at Denver. What we like about her, Hayden, you get out in front of your cattle, just like I was talking about Wyatt right there. I love how you're the leader. You get out in front of them, and your tempo was excellent. A lot of times I feel like we're trying to hold them up, and they don't maximize their athleticism. I thought you did a really good job of that, and that's why we called you back. He gets a little stretch when we were over here, Hayden. We just got to gather him up just a little bit shorter in terms of the way that he was put down to the ground. I thought you did great. Briar, you're going to be next, if she could come over here. Briar, I was chuckling because I like your show stick. Kinley had one just like it that had the sparkles on the end. And Kinley was saying, yeah, I like that show stick. And she said, but at maybe my 2nd year, we were at a prospect show, and you got a little upset, and you broke that show stick over the nose of my show steer. And said, yeah, but my bad on that. Briar, you did an awesome job. I love how you get out in front of your cattle. You give them so much presence through their front end. If we had to pick on you anywhere, just the squareness of his front end. He tends to be a little base wide up front, so you're going to have to focus on probably pulling them together just to maximize him tomorrow, okay? You're a tremendous showman. I know you probably won showmanship quite a bit, and you're going to continue to win it in the future. You're really good. From there, we've got 3, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk each one of them, and then I'll tell you the order that we like them. I'm going to start with Cayman up here. Cayman, first off, I really appreciate you're the first to the ring. You're sharp dressed, got a nice cowboy hat on. You were a professional from start to finish in my book. Just the presence and the confidence that you communicated through your body language I thought was tremendously good today. I love where you stand. I like how you get out in front of your cattle when you lead them. You give them so much presence. You up the ante. He's a good-looking calf, but you still even get more mileage out of him. So I thought you were very fault-free. Every once in a while, you got his neck just completely straightforward, and I like that. You could nudge him just a little bit in terms of his nose out. Yeah, to me, that's just my preference. That's a minor thing. You don't want to do it too far because then it does shorten the length of his neck. But I liked how most of the time you had his neck high, his ears forward, his poll was high, but his nose was down. That was a really good job today. Shay, you are so automatic and so smooth. Every time we bring the cattle into being set, you're probably the one that turns backwards and starts bringing them to being stopped probably sooner than anybody. There's a time or two, Shay, where we're over here on the rear view where you do it so quickly, you're too far maybe from the lineup. And I know it's the tendency of every kid, and they're being coached by their parents, hey, get out, even when we're on the side or over here so that you stand out. But, keep keep that conservative. There's probably a happy medium right there. But in terms of getting them set, putting their feet to the ground, and doing everything pretty much with the halter, I thought Shay did as good as a job as anybody showing with the halter. Kinsley, your calf is a handful. Obviously, you got a nose ring in him for a reason. I would say I was struck with your professionalism, just like I was with Cayman up there. Just the way this young lady carries herself, her poise, her confidence, I think for her age is really, really, really impressive. I wish you had a little better teammate here because I feel like you are an incredibly good showman. So ultimately, we're going to have to leave Kinsley third. And then between our top two up here, our champion showman is going to be Shay, and our reserve champion showman is going to be Cayman. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. I thought that they did an incredible job.
Your results from your junior showmanship. 6th place, Wyatt Dunklau. 5th place, Hayden Hoffman. 4th place, Briar Blanchett. 3rd place, Kinsley Bremer. 2nd place, Cayman Cody. And your class winner and champion junior showman was Shay Rogers. Making their way into the ring is now our intermediate divisions. Our intermediate showmen have been divvied up into 3 different heats. Our first heat will include entries from Shaylee Vega Ritter, Wyatt Cook, Cruz Weber, Trey Goretzka, Sean Roth, Madeline Norvell, Carly Axmere, Riley Rogers, Peyton DeCordova, Kai Curran, Trace Johnson, and Tucker Lane. Those are your entries that will make up your first heat of intermediate showmen.
All right, here in our intermediate division, we've actually got 3 heats, and so there's, 12 head here, I believe, and so we've got a lot more kids to go through and still just 5 spots to grab at the end. We're going to try to choose approximately 3, but if we need one more in each heat, then we will here as we proceed. But we're going to grab 3 out of this group. If y'all don't mind here, before we grab those, can y'all put your hands together, congratulate all 12 kids out here in the ring. I thought y'all did a tremendous job. What a tremendous set of cattle. It's going to be a lot of fun for them to sort tomorrow, just standing out here and looking what we've got here. But the kids have been very impressive. There's a calf or two that maybe hadn't been the best teammate, but for the most part, cattle are acting good, and the students are getting just a tremendous amount of mileage out of them. So with the junior kids, went through and kind of talked to each one of them. With this many kids, we're not going to do that, and y'all are old enough, and at this level, y'all probably know what needs to happen. One thing I will make a comment on, I probably spend just a little bit more time walking in front of the cattle or walking on your offside. And this is just my 2 cents, but as I walk to the front of the cattle, or from whatever angle, if I'm directly behind them, what I'm very impressed with is the level of balance that y'all sustain on those non-side shot views. It's all about balance. It's the perfection of that. And so where you hold their head is at dead center on the rear view. As I come to the front of you, I really wouldn't worry about you turning your body and facing me. I would just get out away from them, make certain that their head is dead in line with their spine, and their neck and head is exactly where you want them, and their front legs come right to the ground underneath their blade, and that their weight is distributed. And so some of these calves, they're maybe not completely 100% chill, and they're leaning just a little bit this direction or that direction, and obviously not a big deal, but just in terms of maxing out their level of balance and the impression that they convey to the judge, that's a little things that sort tremendous showmen and that's what we have out here. So the kids that we felt like did the best job of that, this young man right here with the blonde steer, if you don't mind coming over here, let's give him a round of applause. Thought he was tremendously good. And then we're going to go over here in the corner. These 2 young ladies right here, if y'all don't mind bringing your cabs over here, we're going to call y'all back. Let's give these 2 young ladies a big round of applause as well as everybody else. We'll go ahead and dismiss y'all. I thought, again, y'all did a tremendous job. If you didn't get called back, it's no reason to hang your head. Y'all did a fine job. It's just really, really tough out here.
Up next will be our second heat of intermediate showmen. Our second wave includes entries from Chloe Rogers, Maya Curran, McKenna Skinner, Cutter Prinz, Wyatt Neff, Tyson Johnson, Camden Welp, Carson Oliver, Andrew Stoneberg, Keaton Crosskoff, and Landon Wampler. These are your entries that will make up your second heat of intermediate showmen.
All right. Maybe we lost a few here, and the heats became just a nickel unbalance. But regardless, I thought just like the last heat, this is stiff competition. I thought you did a marvelous job. A few things I noticed here. Y'all did a really good job staying out in front of your cattle when y'all are parked them from the side. When we've got them in motion, Kinley and I were talking about just as people hit the gate, kind of where you like to stay, are you out in front of your cattle? Are you leading them? There's a point where you can get too far, but I certainly don't want to be walking side by side with them. It detracts from the length of their neck. The other thing that I'm cognizant of is just how much slack you have. You don't want cattle kind of fighting you, if you will, just because you've got a minimal amount of slack in the line where they're uncomfortable. And so just trying to make certain that as they hit the ring, it's the most important look you're going to get. I know we spend 99% of our time practicing at home here on the profile, but the gait that they've got coming in the ring and how natural they posture their head and just carry themselves is going to probably translate to most of your decision making. But those little things we're watching, then of course Kinley turned around watching how fast some of these kids get their cattle set up. So, hey, the kids that we're going to call back in this heat, we like the young lady back here with the gold steer and the green sweater. If y'all don't mind giving her a round of applause. Young lady, if you can bring your calf over here, we'd appreciate it. We both like this young lady over here in the glasses. If you could bring your calf over here, sweetheart, let's give her a big round of applause. And then we had a couple that we were going back and forth between here in terms of trying to make a decision on. Y'all could probably tell by our body language. We're going to ask the young man here in the pink shirt and the gray cowboy hat to come back over here. If you can bring your calf over here. We're going to ask those three to come back. I thought all of y'all did a tremendous job. This young lady back here with the Charolais steer, he's a little fidgety, so it's been a little difficult maybe in terms of pushing his neck over here right at the perfect placement into his shoulder, or time or two just getting him set perfectly. Kind of wants to bring his tail out. I thought you did a tremendous job, young lady. Let's give all these kids a big round of applause. We'll dismiss them, and we'll get into our final heat here in the intermediate drive.
Congratulations to our second heat of intermediates. We'll be pulling back Chloe Rogers, Maya Curran, and Andrew Stoneberg for that class. Making their way into the ring now is our third and final heat of intermediate showmen. We have in this class slated entries from Parker Shawla, Maylee Reese, Reed Pratt, Reagan Rogers, Kaylin Ezel, Daniel Young, Macy Banter, Paisley Nelson, Gemma Berry, Taya Stromberger, and Riley Witt. These are your entries that will make up the final class of intermediate showmen.
All right, here in our third and final heat. Hey, this was interesting. Again, it's so subjective. Probably some of the first impressions that were made to me and Kinley, respectively, when y'all first came in, when we got them on the walk and then stood them again, got a lot closer, or maybe even flipped a little bit in terms of the impressions and the reads that I got. And largely just simply because everybody out here is doing just such a tremendous job. They're a pretty mistake-free type of a group. There's maybe little things in terms of just positioning of your calf, how much room and real estate you give yourself to operate, or how big you may circle, or maybe how frequently you might grab a loin, or maybe just nudge a neck to get just a little more presence that's making the difference. So just a combination of a lot of little things that's highly, highly subjective. So we're going to have this young lady right here come back. Y'all give her a nice round of applause if y'all don't mind. She's a very serious showman. She's all business. We're going to see you here in a second, and we'll evaluate more and discuss and talk. Young lady right here in the green shirt's going to come back. Sweetie, if you can come over here and join her. Did a really nice job. Congratulations to you. And then we're going to have the young man back here in the cowboy hat. Very smooth showman. Young man, if you can bring your calf over here. Let's give everybody a huge round of applause, congratulate them on their efforts, and wish them the best.
Congratulations to our last heat of intermediate showmen. We will have back for our final drive Maylee Reese, Reed Pratt, and Paisley Nelson. Those three individuals will be joined by our top three individuals from our first and second waves. Coming back from your first wave, 50-14 from Trey Goretzka. 50-69 is Madeline Norvell. 50-29 is Carly Axmere. Coming back from the second wave is Chloe Rogers, Maya Curran, and Andrew Stoneberg. Those are your top 9 individuals. Our judge will now evaluate them and place your top 5 intermediate showmen.
All right. Apologize for taking just a little bit of time right there. This is such a close group. From top to bottom, decision-making wise, if we polled the audience, I'm sure y'all would have a lot of preferences. Your own kid or somebody that you know, because you're more honed in on them. But if you're focused on everybody out here, we've just got a tremendously smooth set of showmen. I think their tempo is really good. There's a few of the kids we like a little better just because maybe they have a little more intensity in combination with a calf that's chill enough to handle it. But for the most part, I like the tempo that we've got out here. If y'all don't mind, let's put our hands together, congratulate all the kids out here on a job well done this afternoon. But y'all could get a lot of people out here, and y'all are probably going to have different selections. I'll quickly just make a few comments about y'all, and I thought y'all were really, really good. Reed, your calf down here, bud. You do a tremendous job. You're a very problem-free showman. When we lead the cattle, to me, you're just a little bit close to him. Every once in a while, I felt like you could just tap his loin, and he may not do that. This young lady right here was as all business as anybody in here in terms of your eye contact from start to finish. You got maybe just a little jammed up over here in terms of how the calf was set, and maybe needed to just pull him up a step and reset him. Is it Mia or Maya? Maya. Okay, Maya, you did a marvelous job, dear. I loved your intensity. This calf, when we got him over here, he was starting to get a little wore out. He was, when you had him in the corner over there is what I mean, and he was starting to get a little stiff neck where he was starting to drop it. Maybe just needed to maybe relax him and then get his attention, or relax him, get his attention, because he was just trying to not have that, up-fronted kind of cobra look to him. And then maybe a front leg one time that I've wanted to see just positioned just a little bit different. Young man, you are Mr. Automatic. This calf sets up very good for you. He can get a little stretched, was why I pulled you over here, okay? I think you're tremendously good, and I like where you stand. These other 5 are tremendously good showmen. I thought they did a tremendous job. In 5th place right here, we're going to have Chloe. Chloe, if you don't mind, let's give her a round of applause, and we'll pull her over here. I thought this young lady just was extremely smooth. I really don't have much I wanted to change about her. There was maybe a time or two, like the gentleman there in the pink shirt, where that calf got just a fraction stretch. If I had anything to tell you, Chloe, I would say I would amp up the intensity maybe just a little bit. You're so chill that if that calf can handle it, I think there's times where you could be just a little more intense to communicate maybe just a little bit more presence. In 4th place, Paisley, we're going to have you come over here, dear. I thought y'all were very similar, Chloe and Paisley right here in this 4-5 call. Both these young ladies are tall and have so much presence, and the way they carry themselves and get out front of their cattle is absolutely exceptional. These are 2 professional young ladies that are highly confident and going to accomplish big things, and they show very similarly. I think maybe there's every once in a while, it's not so much you, this calf, he wants to almost kind of turtle his neck down just a little bit, and it's hard to get his attention where his neck will get back on top of his blade. That's kind of a tough critter to show sometimes because he wants to lift his nose so far in the air. These other 3, they did a tremendous job, and I'll talk them just very quickly. The young lady right here, you're high intensity. If I were picking on Paisley and Chloe for wanting them to be a little bit more intense, you kind of countered that with your level of intensity up here on the front end of this rig. I thought this calf, for the most part, behaved well for you. He would get a little antsy from time to time. You had to circle more than your other 2 competitors here in this final 3. I like the way you talk to him up front, the way you kind of try to get his ears forward, and just the presence and the attention and alertness that you generate in your calf, I think is highly, highly impressive. The young lady right here in the middle with the white-tailed steer, from start to finish, I was really impressed with just her confidence, her posture, and the steer's posture. I thought they were a team in terms of just what I saw the young lady communicated in her confidence and the calf. She almost made that calf proud, if you will. I like that word. That calf had a proud look about him, but not in a crazy way. And this young lady, in terms of symmetry and balance, some of the things I discussed when I'm walking front and rear, I thought she was as cognizant of some of those factors as any of the kids out here. Young man down here with the blonde steer, young man, you were one of the kids. I said, hey, this is my man right here. When we started this event, he has the same type of intensity and control and demands alertness out of his calf, I guess I would say. And I like that about this young man. I love where you stand. We kind of got in a corner over there when we first had him on profile in this final heat where you didn't leave yourself enough real estate. That was the only time where I could kind of pick on you. He kind of lifted his tail. He kind of fell apart just a little bit. Other than that, you've been 105 in terms of what you've accomplished over here in the job that I have been impressed with and seen and witnessed out here. So, hey, this is a tough call. Any of y'all could win. Young lady, you're going to be 3rd. Young man, you're going to be 2nd. My champion showman, will be right here. This young lady right here. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. Super, super impressive group of intermediates. They all look like seniors, but they show at a senior level. Y'all did a great job.
Your top 5 intermediate showmen. 5th place, Chloe Rogers. 4th place, Paisley Nelson. 3rd place, Carly Achmere. 2nd place, Trey Gretzka. And your class winner, champion intermediate showman, is Madeline Norvell. Congratulations to all of our intermediate showmen. We will clear out our ring and bring up our senior division. Our senior division of showmanship will have a total of 27 entries. Our senior showmen have been divided into 2 different heats. Our first heat will be up here shortly with 13 total entries in its class. Making their way into the ring is our first heat of senior showmen. Within our first heat, we have entries from Kelly Peters, Samuel Jordan, Taylor Simpson, Clayton Bark, Cheyenne Dawson, Caleb Robinette, Lillian Stavig, Jacob Chavaria Cockburn, Kennedy Effling, Jake King, Cash Pratt, Hadley Kirst, Cal Sidwell, and Abry Belcher. These are your entries that will make up your first heat of senior showmen.
All right, I think we've got 2 senior heats, and so we're going to pull back 4 in this group, and then we'll see what we're left with in the balance of the last one. But I thought we had some tremendously good showmen here. The tall young man right here with the paint calf, we're going to ask to come back. Young man right here as well is going to come back. And then the 2 young ladies right here at the front of the lineup with the black calf and the white calf, respectively. All of y'all did a great job. Highly competitive senior group. Let's put our hands together, congratulate all the kids here as they exit the ring.
Congratulations once again to our first wave of senior showmen, the ones that made the cut, and unfortunately the ones that didn't. We will now work to clear out our ring and bring up our second wave of our senior showmanship. Making their way into the ring is our second wave of senior showmen. This is our last heat of our seniors. We have in this ring now Kason Johnson, Sadie Wampler, Katie Johnson, Amber Lee, Cassidy Schofield, Cade Banter, Kyle Taylor, Tatum Bales, Landon Spate, Jax Pryor, Quentin Ross Harwood, Andrew Keenan Kutzenberger, and Kinsey Neve. These are your entries that will make up your final class of senior showmen.
All right, here in our final heat, we're going to ask the young lady right here in the light blue sweater to come back. And then we're going to have the young lady over there with the smoke calf and the green shirt. We're going to have this young man right here, and then this young lady right here in the green come back as well. Y'all did a tremendous job. Very, very tough decisions. Let's give everybody a huge round of applause and dismiss them out of the ring, and we'll blend our two heats back together. Yep. All right, we'll wrap this up. I know y'all probably want to go feed and get wrapped up here today. So, man, what a contest that we've had here in our senior division. Both heats extremely strong, and kids that should be very, very proud of their efforts today. Maybe these two calves that you two gals had, they're kind of wore out on you a little bit. We just had to circle them a little bit too much right there at the end. That's really as simple as it was for us. The young lady right here in the blue sweater, you did a tremendous job. Love your intensity. There was a time where you got kind of caught. You were kind of setting the standard as far as like, hey, we need to be close over here to the chain, and then the rest of the lineup kind of peeled off. Right? It's kind of hard to know what to do in that situation. If I had to tell you the truth of the matter, whether it's appropriate or not, I think if I got hid over there, then I would just have to recircle and realign with the rest of the lineup, right? Initially, not your fault because who knows how the kids behind you, where they're going to stop and land, but after that, you probably got to play the game and just roll with it. We get down here to our top five, and I thought Kinley and I both thought they all five were tremendously good, and your parents ought to be very, very proud of you. In fifth place, we're going to have the young man back here with the chromed up steer. Young man, if you could bring your calf over here. Let's give him a nice round of applause. This young man, yeah, go ahead and bring him out over here, bud. You're very tall. This calf is very short-framed relative to your height, but you can bring him right down here, bud. Just stick him right in here. This young man, I love the way that when we park the cattle, he just gets out in front of the cattle. He gives his calf such look and presence. He maybe, when we had him on lead just a time or two, I thought just relative to your competitors, he was maybe a little fidgety, or you maybe came in a little close to him. There were times where maybe I felt like his neck and head roamed just a little bit more and maybe just needed a little bit more control through this judge's eyes. As we move here into fourth, we're going to have this young lady in the front. If you don't mind bringing your calf over here. Sweetheart, your smoothness is second to none. You do a very nice job of just showing completely with the halter and not with the stick, which is what we wanted to see. I would probably raise the bar just a little bit with your intensity in terms of just your body language. You're almost so serious in your face that I think you want to communicate just either a little happier look or a little more intensity in terms of your demeanor, just to give that presence in terms of the total package. I think some of these other kids are just a fraction more intense in terms of their stick speed, but I think you're extremely smooth. Don't get me wrong, you would win under a lot of people. It's just minor preferences. It's very subjective in terms of what a showmanship judge may be after. Talking these three, the young lady in the green here, absolutely love how this gal gets out in front of her cattle. And I think for those of y'all that have been listening and say, well, Ryan said that he likes you out in front of him and to be the leader of your calf when you're walking. The challenge with that is keeping their neck and their head with some elevation and presence and proudness because it's tough to do both. I thought this young lady does a pretty good job of finding that happy medium, granted with the most stubborn steer in the group, bar none. And so you handled that situation very well. You had to touch his legs very little, and so I credit that to the way that this young lady just brings him into being set. Young man right here in the middle in the blue shirt with the ring nose black calf that's a little shorter bodied. I was watching you earlier, and I said, man, he sets his calf just a little bit bunched up. And then the longer we stayed out here, I realized, no, that calf's just kind of short-bodied. It's just naturally the way his stance is. I love the way you get out in front of your cattle, just the way you position their neck and their head. It's tucked into their shoulder but not rolled around too far here to minimize the length of that calf's neck. I really like this young man's just alertness and intensity. I thought you did a very nice job. The young man back here, I'd say what you do maybe as good as anybody. Number one, I think you communicate confidence, but yet with a smile on your face most of the time, which is a nice combination. And then you're probably as far out in front of your cattle, but yet your length and stretch, not only in your frame score, but the length of your stick and the control and the strength that you have, you're able to get that calf loined and not budge an inch in terms of his neck and his head. His ears are probably the most consistently forward of any of the exhibitors out here from the side. I thought you just did a tremendous job, always pulled them right into being set and just had a tremendous amount of presence. Hey, this is splitting hairs. All of y'all truthfully deserve to win. I thought y'all did a great job. Young man, you're going to be third. Young lady, you're going to be second. Our champion showman's going to be back here. Congratulations, everybody. I appreciate y'all's time this afternoon. Kinley and I had a lot of fun.
Your champion senior showman is Caleb Robinette. Your reserve champion is Amber Lee. Third place was Jake King. Fourth place, Avery Belcher. And fifth place was Samuel Jordan. Congratulations to our senior showman. Appreciate everybody watching our showmanship category here for the junior markets. We will clear out our ring and get set up for our swine grand drive here starting at 6 o'clock.